This game is tilting. Not just this game, there are a lot of games out there that are tilting. Actually, any game with a modicum of skill expression has the potential to be tilting. So recently, I've started playing Elden Ring, and guess what? That shit is tilting as fuck. Perhaps not the same type of tilting as League is. In Elden Ring, it's more of a cumbersome sort of tilt because you have no idea what the hell you're supposed to be doing at any point in time, so you're constantly having to look up guides on where to go and what to do and all that other shit. In League, it's the crushing despair of misplaying either you or your teammates that send you down an infernal spiral of tilt. So in this video, we'll do a quick but deep dive into tilt. What it is, how it works, and what you can do to prevent it or minimize its effects. If you guys are new here, my name is Raybees. I teach non-talented gamers how to get good and develop a healthy relationship with video games. I do mostly League of Legends climbing content, gaming psychology videos, as well as videos on other games coming soon. If you guys find any value in my videos, do make sure to like and subscribe so the algo promotes my channel to a bigger audience. So first and foremost, what is tilt? Urban Dictionary has a banger definition here by some guy literally named Tilt Lord. Tilt is a heightened emotional state characterized primarily by extreme frustration. It's an emotional state where your internal frustrations with whatever game you're playing at the time spills over into your external behavior. This external behavior is often adverse and can include stuff like yelling, breaking stuff, sabotaging in-game progress, and lashing out at people, to just name a few. In this video, we'll cover more on the third bullet, which regards to your gaming performance. For the rest of the things in the video, if you're suffering from them on like a consistent basis, you probably need to check in with like a professional therapist. Now, with regards to games like League or Elden Ring, we all know that tilting is an extremely disadvantaged mental state to be in, because the kind of thoughts you have while in that state doesn't really serve you in any capacity. What makes it worse is that you're more likely to make worse decisions when tilting, which in turn compounds into a negative result which fuels more tilt, creating an extremely toxic cycle that can be very hard to break out of, especially for certain personality types. And what about after you recover from your tilt? You're probably riddled with shame, guilt, and emptiness with the realization that you let your frustrations get the better of you. And in that despondent emotional state, you're a lot more vulnerable, so there's a higher chance still of that shame transforming into rage and frustration the next time you're faced with a difficult in-game scenario, and the cycle repeats. So, what do we do about this? Tilt, or frustration, is a more aggressive expression of disappointment, which is caused by reality not meeting your expectations. Did you expect your teammates to follow up on your Baron call? Tilted. Did you expect to get diamond by the end of the split? Tilted. Did you expect to beat this boss within the first few attempts? Tilted. Your expectations lead to tilt. However, it's not easy to tell someone not to expect anything. Having an instinctual expectation of how anything is going to go is part of our human experience, and it's called heuristics. But we're not going to go super deep down that rabbit hole in this video. Rather, now that we've established your expectations is leading to your tilt, we're going to learn how to recalibrate our expectations. Now this step can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. Recognizing that you have limited control over people's actions is the biggest step you can take to recalibrating your expectations. Now, I don't like when the common branch of advice is that you have no control over people's actions, because that's simply not true. You can, if you really want, take control over how people behave. Shit, you can even influence how they respond to certain cues and use that to your advantage by spamming those cues around them. I'm lucky enough to have a bit of innate aptitude in this department, especially professionally in my day job, and I'm a true believer in the fact that people can be controlled to a certain degree. The catch is that it's extremely time consuming, like so time consuming in fact, that people have figured out the most efficient way to do things is just to fuck caring about what anyone else thinks and just focus on yourself. And if you're familiar with my content in any capacity, you know that I'm a huge proponent of this, not just in League, but in life. It takes so much fucking time, energy, mental faculties, and sometimes just downright luck to be able to influence people to any appreciable degree, especially when it comes to like high octane competitive games. I remember when I first climbed out of silver in like season 8, I was playing fucking Vayne top. I spent so much time pinging and typing useful shit so my teammates wouldn't fucking lose the game before I scaled to the point where I can carry. Now, that was one of the most draining experiences I've ever dealt with because my brain was completely fried trying to micromanage 4 clowns while also trying to play a mechanically intensive champion in a role with almost zero margin for error. Looking back on it, that's where my climbing philosophy of intensity comes from actually. I could only play about 1 to 2 games a day because of the massive amount of mental processing I had to use to even have a chance of climbing out of high silver. So, all this to say, go into your games with a pre-built notion that you won't be able to control shit. Because I have some sort of aptitude as well as a lot of experience micromanaging teammates, and even I gave up on that shit because of how strenuous it was, especially the more I climb now. You would be better off sinking all that extra time and mental faculty into perfecting your own play and doing the best you can, and then constantly improving upon those in the coming months. Come into each game with my 0-2 mindset. It's basically thinking that all 4 of your teammates will be 0-2 by the first 10 minutes and you'll have to play it out from there. This has been one of my biggest breakthroughs when it comes to overcoming tilt. I rarely get tilted these days because I don't expect much from my teammates in the first place. And the reason why the 0-2 method is such a powerful frame is because it's realistic. If I told you that by 10 minutes all the apes on your team will go fucking 0-5 or some shit, it'll demoralize you too much and you won't be motivated to queue up anymore. But 0-2 is manageable. It's like that sweet spot. It certainly isn't ideal, but you've come back from worse before, and given all the bounty systems that Riot is implementing, catching up is more and more realistic in scenarios where it wasn't previously. So use the 0-2 method, reset your expectations, and you'll have a much easier time staying clear-headed during those heated moments during the game. Now, that's managing your expectations out of the way. To really drive the point home, I want to talk about a concept I've coined outcome versus output. Another aspect of your tilt is because you're outcome driven. Did you win the game or not? Did you have a high KDA or not? Did your jungler gank your lane or not? Or if you're playing other games, did you kill the boss or not? Did you finish this quest with max achievements or not? Notice how all these things are outcomes of a particular endeavor. In the corporate world, we would call this results-based. And results-based doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. In fact, a lot of high-end achievers usually have a results-based mentality. A results-based mentality combined with a growth mindset and natural talent is a classic recipe for world-class achievements in basically every fucking domain. However, it's also a classic recipe for completely destroying your mental. You see, focusing on the outcome of a particular endeavor streamlines your brain into investing resources to accomplish that goal. The more of your physical and mental resources you invest into this goal, the more you become inextricably linked with it on a more personal level. Meaning, you start to associate your self-worth with your progress with said goal, which can be quite a dangerous route to go down. Why? Because when you're making progress, life is just peachy. Your mood is generally higher throughout the day, you have a much more positive outlook, and life is just on smooth cruise control. But when things go awry or they stall, life can be a fucking pain in the ass. It feels like you're dragging your feet through the day and week, and you feel like you're accomplishing nothing with life. How many times has a bad losing streak completely fucked up your day or week in League? The thing with most goals we have is that they're somewhat dependent on outside sources to a certain degree. When you're at the mercy of 9 other players on the Rift, 10 if you include our Lord and Savior Freak, you can feel that you're lacking some critical agency over your own goals. This can be true in other areas as well. What if you're looking for a promotion but a rival gets along way better with the boss, so you're worried you're gonna get passed up? What if you're looking to get straight A's this semester but one of your professors is a complete bitch and has a very anal way of grading papers? The point being, guys, if you focus on the outcome, you'll damage your mental. This scales with how grand the goal you've set is. Bigger goals are multifaceted, and it's not up to you alone to dictate your progress towards it, so outside influences can have wildly positive and negative effects at any point in time. In order to overcome this, direct your energies more on the output than the outcome. Instead of worrying about if you won the game or not, focus more on if you played well or not. Instead of worrying about your jungler ganking your lane or invading without prio, focus on if you communicated correctly to him about your lane state. And this goes further in life as well. That promotion you wanted, just focus on doing your job properly and maintaining good relations, and whatever happens, happens. The class that you wanted to ace, just put your head down and study, and maybe go to that professor's office hours, and whatever happens, happens. Am I telling you that results aren't important? No. The whole reason we strive toward our goals is because we want the benefits of getting said results. What keeps us motivated is the life upgrades that result gives us, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, there is something wrong with letting that pursuit consume your self-worth and psyche to the point where the progress is able to sway your mood so heavily. Don't become a slave to that progress. By making that difference, say when you're trying to climb or playing another equally difficult game, you're able to create more awareness between your internal states and external results, therefore reducing the level of frustration you go through when something doesn't go your way. By grading yourself on if you played your cards correctly instead of whether you won the round, you'll be able to make the same amount of progress but without much tilt, frustration, and eventual burnout. I was gonna actually end the video here, but there was one thing that I wanted to get off my chest. At first, I wasn't even sure if I should broach this topic because it's a little bit too meta, but then I figured, what the hell, if you got this far into this video, I suppose you deserve a bit of an extra for your high attention span. Me teaching you how to overcome tilt is all well and good, but tell me, are you actually addicted to getting tilted in the first place? Do you feel like every little thing that can go wrong in a game can immediately send you down a mental freefall? Do you feel like you're just one bad thing happening from completely crashing out and taking it out on yourself and everyone else around you? You've gotten too used to the emotional high of tilting. It's a fun experience for you because it breaks you out of the monotony of daily life with heightened feelings, no matter how negative. This is like the same thing as people eating sugary foods randomly throughout the day because they feel bored. They know they shouldn't, but they succumb to these cravings because they can't bear the thought of being bored for like a few minutes and waiting for the craving to pass. The best fix for this is simply being aware that this phenomenon actually exists. If you're using frustration and tilt to inject some sort of excitement into your life, then I suggest taking a good long look at yourself in the mirror and figuring out why your life has become so empty that you need resort to tilting or other negative behaviors in order to feel anything. I can go much more detail into this, but unfortunately that would make this video 30 minutes long and I don't have time for that. But regardless, if you want more videos like this, like the video and subscribe to the channel to keep the channel running. I do League of Legends and gaming psychology coaching starting at $10 a month, so hit me up on Discord if you're interested in that. I'll leave some of my climbing and gaming psychology videos up on the screen right now, so you can watch them at your own leisure. That's it from me guys. I hope you guys learned something in this video and I'll catch you in the next one.